it is time to grow, but it's also time to clean up a lot of our messes. So today, this is a big episode. We're gonna move from around 3,000 of population to a lot more. We're gonna move from just a couple of food provided to all of them provided, and a few other things, in particular terraforming. So really cool terraforming I did over here is not only, we have expanded by a lot over there, because you see there used to be a lot of water, but I have also terraformed Ile Saint-Louis over there, so that this piece here has disappeared, and now we can make it a bit more kind of a square around here and a square around there. We have also this mountain over here, right? It's a mix between level 2, level 3 and the mountain. We need to make this all flat. We have a lot of spaces where there's too much rocks and we're not gonna be able to put farms, right? So we need to take all of these rocks out, all of these ones there, maybe also even here, there for sure, and a couple of other places. There's a lot of work that needs to be done over there. And look at the farming sector. It used to be those, 12 farms over here with pretty complex logistics, because we need to take care to make sure that, the belts will never stop by having an overflow system. And this overflow system, is also pretty complex. I did manage to do that pretty well, I feel, in update 1, my update 1 series. Don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you want to find it. But for this one, I wanted to do something a bit different, something a bit more cleaner and something a bit more easy to scale. So let's move from this and done. Obviously a couple of years have passed, but as you can see, we have now more than 7,000 of population, more than double our population. We still have the perfect layout of 8 neighborhood with 1 decoration in the middle to make sure that you get the +1 unity bonus. And we're providing all types of food. They're not all full yet, but I can guarantee you that I'm producing enough for all of my people. Even, I don't need to put this food consumption reduce at all. Actually, what we're gonna even discuss in this episode is I think we may even be able to get to plenty of food level 2, which will give us 2.5 unity bonus on top of all of the unity that we already get from all of this, which is quite a lot, right? Like all of these are providing unity bonus and health bonus, by the way, too. Now at the same time, it's not as if everything is perfect. For example, the water production over here is not enough unless I put the water saver, so we're losing 1 unity there. So in the next episode, I think we're gonna have to fix this. Similarly over here, I had to make some small changes to make sure that we are able to, burn a lot of waste per minute, and also take care of really a lot of settlement wastewater, right? We're talking about more than 300 per minute of this. And last but not least, we're not making enough of the medical supply anymore. We're talking about almost 60 when there is an illness going on, a bit less when there's no illness, but still, it's not enough for my, 48 over here, right? 24 times 2. And on top of this, we've also unlocked medical supply level 3, so I think we're gonna rework this to have medical supply level 3. All of this is possible because I have completely reworked our farming sector and also done a lot of terraforming. All of this used to be water, now it's not anymore, right? Like I said, we took out the part of Saint Louis that was over here, and now we made it a perfect rectangle. We have a bridge also going now from Saint Louis to Ile de la Cité, and this block of Ile de la Cité is completely flat. I'm not really sure what we're gonna do there, to be honest, but it's there. So we have now a food corner over there. Yeah, there is a couple of buildings. I'm gonna talk about this, don't worry, but again, this is working really fine. This part over here is also getting flatter and flatter. As I promised in the previous episode, I moved my greenhouses for sugarcane over here temporarily. We've also made this part a lot flatter than before. And by the way, yeah, we've started also this production there, and we'll talk about it later. But the most important is, of course, the farm. Here is the new farming sector. It is obviously a lot bigger. It has more water production, right? But it's also, as I said, a lot cleaner, a lot easier to expand. Because basically to expand any of the production, let's say I'm missing some corn or I'm missing some wheat or whatever, it basically means I need to add more soil there and then put one more of these. Or of course I could also put one more line here, there, right? But it is sort of a lot easier, and I'm going to explain why and how. So let's start with the water, because there's nothing extraordinary over here except that it is a huge production. We have now 20 of those thermal desalinators, so we're talking about more than 1,500 of water. Of course, that requires multiple pipes going out. Alright, this also does require quite a bit of steam. This is 240 steam, so it's actually 10 of these boiler electrics, which means it's 80 megawatts. It's quite a lot of megawatts, which is why sometimes I'm again in the red on the electricity. But with this, that means we don't need any coal or any other resources. Right? This will always work without any problem. So to recap very quickly, what's happening is we start with a seawater pump. It's 1-to-1, so we have 20. Then it goes into a thermal desalinator where we're taking some steam high that is made by those boiler electric to make some brine and water. The brine is actually sent directly into back into the water. It doesn't pollute, so it's not a problem. And we have 2 lines of this because it's actually too much. I mean, we're talking about 42. So time again 20, that's more than 800. So 1 pipe is not enough. That's why we have 2 pipes. We have basically 1 pipe at level 1, which is for this 7 liquid dump over here. And then we have 1 pipe at level 0, which is for these ones there. I'm putting them slightly offsetted like this, also so that it's closer, right? We are using less space. And then obviously we need some of the water to be making the steam. So that's why we have actually these ones over here. They're dedicated to this for the steam. And versus these ones, the other 15 other ones, if you wish, they are dedicated over here for some of the production. Now, to be honest, there is one thing I haven't fully checked is now that I have more farms than I actually initially planned for, is am I still making enough water? So we may have to make small changes to the water, but I also have a lot of space over here to add more water production if needed. So that shouldn't be a problem. As I said, obviously we need multiple water output, and that's what you can see over here with the bridge so that the trucks can still go through. And then this water will start, going on all of the farms. If you remember in one of the previous episodes, I mentioned that actually those irrigated farms are the most efficient use of your people because they only, take 12 versus greenhouse level 2 takes 24, but the productions are not double. So it is better, if you have the space to have more irrigated farm like I did, but there are some productions that are not possible to do. For example, the fruits, this is not possible to do in an irrigated farm. If you look over here, it's going to tell you greenhouse required. And there's a few others too, like the sugarcane. So that is why you can see mostly a lot of irrigating farms, but a couple of greenhouses and one there too. Now, initially, as I said, I was planning to do this and only feed all of my people, 7,360. I had calculated how much do I need to just feed them normally. But then while I was building it, I felt actually I have the space. I'm going to be able to probably do also plenty of food, which will increase by 50%. So it's not nothing. It's a 50% increase that's big, but it's going to give me 2.5 unity per month. That is also quite big. That has required me to make some small changes, add a few more farms, and we're not fully done, which is why there's this over here. But I wanted to show you where we're at, and then maybe I'll fix it and show you that too. So how are we doing to make this very organized? Well, first of all, I decided to have a clear big space for the food processing. This is what Ile Saint-Louis is going to be for. You can see there is still a lot of space, but that way, if we have problem, if we need to expand, that's easy. And then over here, this is where all the farms are. We have the nuclear there. I will move the nuclear in the future, probably more over here or there. But for now, it's fine. We still have, that there. Basically, what will happen is that each of these is going to focus on different production. So if you look over here, for example, this is all of the potatoes and vegetables. Potatoes, vegetables, all the way, right? They all do this. Then here, this is going to be mostly a bit of vegetables and a lot of corn. So if you see these ones over here, they have corn and vegetables, so the first 4. All the other ones will only have corn. Oh no, I missed one. Okay, sorry. So this should be up. So yeah, these ones only have corn with the green manure, which basically means you're gonna consume even more water, but it increases the production of corn. Right? So we have a lot of corn production here because corn is really great for quite a few things. And then we move to the next one, right? Is we're gonna have over here a lot of wheat. So this is producing my wheat, right? As you can see, until we get to here, where then it's gonna make a lot of soybean. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 soybean. Those two over here are also making corn. It's a bit of a you know I said each line is doing one thing, but it's just I was getting out of space over there, and so I put 2 more corns over here. That's actually I forgot to build this, so let's build it. But I could easily, if I had the space, move these ones over here, and then if I need more of the soybean, that's gonna happen. And what I'm doing too is the soybean and the wheat are actually not going to be mixed at all. The wheat, all of these wheat one are going at level 0 here, right? That's the red one, versus all of the soybean that are over here, they're going directly at level 3. So they are not going to mix. And that's the whole point of this layout, is I'm not mixing any of the productions. This way, I don't need to manage, overflow system or anything like this. I can basically have all of my production overproducing by just a bit, and it's fine. They're not moving, by a lot, but they will never be mixed. They will never be sort of a stall. So that is perfect. And then, so we talk about the wheat, and then lastly over here we have the fruits and canola for 7 of them, and then just the last one is only fruit because 7 was enough for all of the canola that we need, but we needed a bit more fruits, so we have 1 more fruits there. And then last but not least, I have 1 of these sugarcane over here. We're gonna want a second one soon, which is why I'm trying to fix this place there. Take out, as always, all of the rock, and then drop some soil on top. So as I was saying, nothing is being mixed, right? We have at level 0 over here the potatoes, level 1 we have the vegetables, here we're gonna have the sugar cane, and then if we continue over here we have more vegetables, so that's fine, they can go together. Then we have the corn that is not mixing with the potato. And then continue. We're gonna have also the wheat that's coming from here, right? We have the wheat coming from there. We have the soybean, and they all, go into these separated lines over there to then start to be processed. This is not the cleanest thing. This is not, the most compact, but it works well. It works well. I will first fix it before sharing the layout, but basically with this I'm gonna be able once again to feed more than my 7,300 of population with this plus 50% of consumption. So that's really a lot. So let me show you quickly what's happening. Over here, this is the wheat. The wheat will come on this lift. Over here, there is one U-shape balancer that says first go on this line, but then if you're full, you can go there to make me some of this animal feed. But again, the key thing is that if it's full, that's fine. It's not a problem. I don't have to worry about it. So most importantly, obviously, we want this wheat to be transformed into flour. That's what's happening over here, and it does create a bit of animal feed. So we have this animal feed that's going there, and it's actually prioritized, right, versus these ones, because obviously we need to make sure that this continues working. And then we make a lot of flour that goes over here, and then this flour will be used for a few things. First, it's making bread with water, right? But we're also going to use it for more things. So this belt over here that goes into cakes here. I think that's actually the only 2 things we use it for, right? Oh no, and sausage too, sorry, which are currently over here. Right, so that's the same belt that just continues and makes some sausage. So that's the flour, easy peasy. We have then made some bread that goes over here and goes back, onto the big belt to go all the way to my city. It's the same obviously for vegetable, it goes just directly to the city. The fruits mostly go directly to the city. We're just going to use some of them over here, so that's why we have we don't really need a pipe balancer, to be honest, but I put one. Say first make sure that you make me my cakes. I like cakes, but yeah, you don't really need it. The important thing is you do need to split it. Some goes directly to the city, some will go inside over here, right, to make some cakes. So we said the cakes are gonna take flour, they're gonna take a bit of fruits, they're gonna take also eggs, cooking oil and sugar. And then when they're made, you know, they can go directly back on the belt. Then going back over here, you know, we have the potatoes. So potatoes, again, will go directly to the city to be eaten, but we also want to make sure that if this is full, you're going to be used to make some more animal feed. So in this case, the priority is definitely first into the city, but if you're full, yeah, you can go here. Then we have the corn. So the corn is really important for a couple of things. First of all, yeah, it also needs to go into the city. So that's why we have this pipe balancer there with, not pipe, sorry, U-shape balancer with a priority to the city. But if there is, you know, if it's full, then it goes over here, it goes back down, and there is another balancer, which will say first you go this side. Why? Because we need a lot of corn to make snacks. Now you can use corn or potatoes, but as I shared in the previous episode, you know, you actually make, it's easier to make more corn than potatoes, and actually corn will make 48 snack versus potatoes only 36, so definitely you want to use this one. But then again, if that is full, we are going to say you can go and make me some animal feed. And actually this is going to be sort of the main animal feed feeder, if you wish, or ways to make animal feed. That's why it's also prioritized, because this is the one that has the best production ratio, right? With 120, we're going to make 144, which is a lot more than the potatoes. It's a bit less than the wheat, but it's a lot easier to make 120 corn. So that is why, again, this is the best. But again, you know, we're bringing also the wheat and also the potato, because why not? Then maybe let's go back to the cake. We said we also needed some sugar, some cooking oil. So sugar is the sugar cane, right? Remember we have one sugar cane greenhouse over here. It goes on to this one. There's a storage to have some buffer, and then we transform it with a bit of water into sugar and biomass. The biomass goes over here to be burnt. It is a small air pollution, but this is the only way to make it sort of 100% sustainable, right? Because you could transform into compost and then do something with the compost, like drop into the ocean, but that's not sustainable. By the way, while I was talking, I have finished digging over here all of the rocks, so we can now make sure that here it is only dirt, and then you can do this back, right, to make sure you have the right area. Perfect. Okay, so that should be dropping now only dirt on this, and then we'll be able to put one more farm there at least. Okay, so again, going back, we're making now sugar with this, and so the sugar can go directly there. It's actually what's happening at level 0, as you can see there. And then the cooking oil. So we need cooking oil actually for two things. One is for the snacks, and one is for the cake. It's not a lot, you know, in total, basically I'm gonna need only one of these to make 12. I did put a second one just in case, but we don't really need it. So this cooking oil, you have two ways to do it, but the best is canola. So that's why, you know, we have a couple of canola production. It goes over here, there is a storage, right? And then it makes the cooking oil and animal feed. The animal feed will go along this belt to then join back into the main branch here, which is prioritized. It's prioritized to make sure that this is emptied, right? So that's what's happening with the cooking oil. And so with this, we are able to make cake as long as we have also 2 eggs. So the eggs are going to come from the farms, of course, the chicken farms. They are going to be sent to the city, right? It's one of these, which one? This one. Alright, but they are also going to be sent over here. So that's what's happening over here. You'll see that at level 1 we have the eggs, and at level 2 we have the chickens. So you know, usually you'll see something like this, or a flat lift for each of the farms, right? You can see it over here. The eggs are over there. All right, so that's what's happening. And as I said, we're gonna send a bit of the eggs this side, but most of them are just going onto the belt over here. Now the chicken farm, these are some of the, not hard one, but this is a key one to take into consideration. You're gonna need quite a lot of them. For my basic population of 7,000, I think I only needed like 5 or 6, but for the plus 50% of consumption, I'm definitely gonna need 7 or 8. So I'm glad that I put 8 like this. It will require quite a bit of water because it's almost 20 for each. So it's good that we have a water production on site, and it will require a lot of animal feed. Right? We're talking about 15 for each, so it's basically more than 100. And to make 100 of animal feed, you need almost 100 also of corn or something like this, right? Which is why, once again, we have a lot of corn production, right? This is all pure corn, and even here, right, we're adding more corn all the way. So that is the animal feed. Remember also that the chicken, you buy them F3 over here, right? And then they will start growing. You need to enable the slaughtering, and my suggestion is to put it at 500. This is where you're going to have the highest egg production and chicken carcass production. Talking about 10 for each of the farms. And then that gets us actually to the only point where I made a slight mistake, let's say, is I built this very compact for the sausage and the meat. This is enough for my current population and the normal consumption, but this is not enough for the plus 50%. So this is why basically I'm gonna need to delete those 4 and instead use this, which is slightly bigger, and therefore I guess we're gonna put them here and we're gonna have a small space there. So why? I mean, basically we need more than 15 meat. Opening my Excel as we speak, it's like, for my current population, I only need 14 meat, so that was perfect. But with the plus 50%, I'm gonna need 21, so that's not enough. We're gonna need a second one. It's not like the second one really need to work full time, because that would make 30, that's a lot more, but still, we need a second one. And similarly for the sausages, right now only 18, so 24 is not a problem, but that's gonna move to 26, and then that means again we need a second one, but that won't need to work at full speed. Which is why, here it says, 30 carcasses for one of these, which would mean 60. And then we would need even more because this is only 6 trimmings, so 12 trimmings, and we're gonna need more than 24, which is why we have this third food processor with, again, 30 chicken carcasses. But, as I said, like, all 3 of these would be 90 carcasses, which means we need 9 of these farms, but these don't need to work at 100%, right? So that shouldn't be a problem with 8. I think we will have no problem. I do need, to do 3 things. One is, as I said, we need to delete this and rebuild that one. 2 is we need a second of these greenhouse for the sugar production, because over here I'm only producing 12.5, right? And with 12.5, I'm basically going to make less than 12 sugar, right? So I won't have all 3 of these working because each of them is taking 4. This was not a problem before because I only needed basically 1.5 of these. Now I need more than 2. So we're definitely gonna need a bit more of sugar or sugar cane. So I'll build that one. And then lastly is, as I just said, now we need 8 farms of chicken, which is going to require quite a lot of animal feed, which means a lot of corn. Basically, as per my calculation, I need in total 170 of corn, and right now I'm only producing 140. So I just need to also increase a bit my corn production you know, here, there, maybe. I could also put a new line there if needed. But yeah, that's the only thing that's needed for me to be able to give plus 50% of consumption to all of my people and make a lot of Unity. Here it is, ladies and gents, a couple of minutes later, and I think I am ready to basically put the consumption on overdrive. We're gonna give plenty of food, level 1 and level 2. So now that's giving me 2.5 Unity per minute. And we're gonna see, you know, all of the things are basically full right now. We have obviously a lot of reserves. We're gonna see if that goes down or if that stays at that level, if there's any problem in the next couple of minutes. But no, I think we're good. You know, as I said, I deleted over here the old sort of sausage and meat production because it was slightly too small, and I've made it over here slightly bigger. So instead of one food processor for the meat, we now have two. We still have over here this U-shape balancer to say this is the priority versus this food processor, which will only be used when we're really low on meat trimmings. And then here we do have also two food processors for the sausages, which is gonna be definitely an overkill. Because remember, I said I need only 26, so one was almost enough, but yeah, with two we're definitely gonna be good. Now, obviously it's not perfect in terms of being super clean, but I'm gonna leave it go for a bit, and then if it works perfectly as I expect, then I'll clean, you know, some of the belts, make probably a bit more compact. I've also built a second greenhouse here for the sugarcane, and we have also one more corn there. I still think corn may be a slight problem. We're gonna have to see that, you know, follow up that number. But if it is a problem, I have this whole space there that can be used. Otherwise, we'll use that space for something else in the future. I'm also starting, by the way, to recreate a bit more kind of the roads and things like this across my city. We'll probably also make something a bit nice across over here, right? But yeah, I think that was a really powerful episode. We now have a lot of workers that are, you know, unemployed that will help us, of course, to do in the next episode some upgrades of our energy production, of our actual basic productions. We also still need to rework this a bit, and the medical supplies, right? So the next episode is gonna be another big one, but I hope you like this one. Please smash the like button because that was definitely many hours of work, and I hope to see you next time.